Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. It's been so long since I've last talked in one of my videos, so I decided that I'm going to start talking again. So today, in this video, we'll be designing this Facebook web design. So what we have here is the Facebook login page, and we just have two inputs with a login button and forgot password, some more links down here, and I also have the create a new account button. And we have the Facebook logo and some more text right here. And let's compare how it looks with the real one. So this is the real Facebook website and this is mine. So as you notice, their box shadow on the container right here is a bit more blurred out while mine is a bit more solid. And also their background is slightly dimmer than mine, if you notice, while mine is a bit brighter. But other than that, they are very similar in appearance. And also with the inputs, when you click on them, mine turns black with this black outline around it, while this, when you click on it, it turns blue with this blue glow around it, which looks way better than mine. But I didn't know how to do that, so I just left it out. But other than that, let's get started with the video, guys. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just get rid of all this and start from scratch like always. Generate my boilerplate code, and then I can create an img tag, give an ID of FB logo, short for Facebook logo, and then the source will be Facebook logo 2.png, and then I'll create a span, give an ID of connect, and we'll just say connect with friends and the world, and then we'll create another span. So we're basically separating the text into two different spans. So this is also going to be part of that. So this will be connect to around you on Facebook. So now let's take a look at what we have so far. So if we refresh, we'll have the logo and the text. And then we can create a div, give an ID of container. This will be our sign up form, or login form, I should say. So inside of the container, I'll just create an input, give it a placeholder of email or phone number, and then a BR, which breaks it, which means it's going to force the next element that I create to go onto the next line below it. So we'll create another input and give it a placeholder of password. This is where we will type in our password. So now we have these two inputs. If I were to comment this out right here, you will notice that they're not stacked on top of each other anymore. This is what I mean by it forcing the password input to go below it. So let me bring it back. And now it's stacked on top of each other again, like how it is right here. Perfect. And then we can create another break tag and create a button. Button ID log btn, and we'll just call it login. And we'll create another break tag, a span with the ID of forgot. So this will be forgot password, just that simple link right there. And then we can create another BR tag and do div ID equals horizontal line. And this is what I mean by horizontal line. If you see right here, it has this faint gray horizontal line right below the forgot password link. So that's what I'm going to use to create that. The div, which I gave the ID of horizontal line. Then I can create a BR tag and another button, give an ID of create btn. So this is the create account button. So I'll just call it create new account. And below the container, I'm going to escape out of the container for now and create a span, give it an ID of create page, and this will just say span. So we're going to create another span within that span create page. So we'll do create a page. So basically what I'm doing here is, if you see right here, the create a page portion of this text right here is bold and also is also a link. So that's why I put it in its separate span so I can style it individually. And now we're done with all the HTML, so we can get started with the CSS. So the first thing we'll want to do is style the body and give it a background color of RGB 251, 255, 255. And after that, we can style our container and give it a width of 396 pixels, height 340 pixels, background white, display flex, justify content, select start, align items center, flex direction column. So basically what this liner here is doing is that it's going to stack all the elements on top of each other. So it's going to be a vertical stack from top to bottom, and then you can do padding, top 15 pixels. So for the box shadow, I'll give it a value of 0, 0, 5 pixel RGB, and I'll just pick out this gray color, so 138, 135, 135, and we can do border radius 8 pixels to round off the corners a little bit. So we have our container, and as you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. So the corners aren't completely 90 degrees because I added a border radius of 8 pixels. If I were to comment this out, now it's going to be a sharp 90 degrees edge again. So we don't want it makes the container look kind of ugly in my opinion, and besides it doesn't even look like the one we have right here, because the one right here, it's not 90 degrees, it's actually a bit rounded at the edges. So now we can go back to VS Code and do position relative, left 1170 pixels, and then I'll do top 180 pixels, transform scale. Alright, and then we can do input. We can style our input and give it a border of 1.4 pixels, solid light gray, width of 85%, height of 44 pixels, border radius 5 pixels, padding left 25 pixels, font size 17 pixels, cursor pointer. Alright, now we can style our placeholder for our input, so we can do that by doing input placeholder, and we'll just give the placeholder a font size of 17 pixels as well, and then we'll do create BTN, background RGB 19 187 56. So that's going to be the one for this right here, the create new account button. The font family Roboto, sans serif, so we're combining multiple font names together, I guess. And then we'll change the text color to be white, so that shows up better. Border none, which is going to make it look a whole lot better than it was before. And then we'll increase its size, so we'll do width 200 pixels, height 47 pixels, and then border radius, I'll just say, I don't know, maybe 5 pixels. And then font weight 700, which will make it a little bit more bold than it was before. And then font size, we'll just do 1.15 REM. Position relative, we'll just want to move it from the top 16 pixels. And then we'll do cursor pointer. Now we have successfully created our create new account button. So let me show you guys something else about this. So when we go back, this button, when we hover over it, you'll notice that the background darkens a little bit to a darker shade of green. So let's go add that hover property effect to our button. So we can do that by simply typing the name of the button, which is create BTN, :hover, which is sort of the CSS event, you can call it, that we're trying to look for. And then we'll do background RGB 19173 53. So it's still green except a darker shade of green. So now when we hover over it, it darkens. And there's something else I should have added in it, which was the transition 0.3 seconds. So now it's going to be a lot smoother than it was before when we hover over it. Before it changed background colors instantaneously, while this takes 0.3 seconds, which makes it somewhat a little smoother than it was before. And then we can style our log BTN, our login button. That's the ID we gave it, and we'll just give it a background color #1877F2, which is going to be this nice blue color. So there we have it right there. And we'll also want to get rid of the border, if I can spell it correctly. And then border radius 6 pixels, font size 20 pixels, line height 48 pixels, padding 0, 16 pixels, and then width will be 365 pixels, and the color of it will be white. Cursor pointer, let me move it down a little bit so you guys can see. And then font weight 600, which will make it a little more defined and more bold. So now if we take a look at it, we have created our button. And that's why I wasn't positioned correctly, because I zoomed out. That's why. And then we can do log btn hover. So we're adding a hover event to our login button. And we'll just change the background color of it to be hashtag 106BE2. And once again, I forgot to add the transition property. We'll just do 0.3s. And now when we hover over it, our cursor should turn into a pointer, and as you can see, the background darkens a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so this website is somewhat functional now. And then we can select our forgot, give it a color of hashtag 1877F2, which is almost the same shade of blue as the login button hover effect that we gave right there. And we'll also want to do font size 14 pixels, font weight 500 pixels, just 500, and then font family sans serif, just like that. And now we have that placed right there. We should also give it a hover property, so we'll do forgot hover. So we'll do text decoration underline. So now if we go take a look at it, when we hover over it, it becomes underlined. And let's also add a cursor pointer to it so that our cursor turns into a pointer indicating that we hovered over it. Now we can select our connect element and do font family sans serif, font weight 500, font size 2.6 rem, position relative, top 360 pixels, right 155 pixels, text align center. And now if we go take a look at it, it's right there. And we can do the same for our connect to. We'll just do position relative, top 320 pixels, left 1130 pixels, font family sans serif, and then we can style our connect to element. So we'll do font family sans serif, font weight 500, font size 2.6 rem, position relative, and right 795 pixels, top 405 pixels. Now it's positioned right below the one above it. Perfect. And then we can style our create page link. So we'll just select it by doing that. Create page and then position relative, top 320 pixels, left 1130 pixels, font family sans serif, font weight 500, and then we'll do font size 1.35 rem. Now if we go back, you'll notice that it's right below our container. Perfect. And then we can style our Facebook logo, position relative, top 295 pixels, left 209 pixels. Yep, right where we wanted it. Let's see how it looks so far in comparison to the real one. Okay, we just have to move this over to the left a little bit by probably 10 pixels or so. So let's fix that. We'll just change this to maybe 805. Maybe 10 more pixels, so 8010. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Now we can select our bold text, and we'll just do font weight bold, cursor pointer, And we'll also give it a hover property by doing text decoration underline. So when we hover over it, the text will be underlined. So now if we go back and try hovering over it, you'll notice that it becomes underlined. But obviously when we click on it, it doesn't do anything since it's just a span tag, not an href tag, not an a tag with an href attribute. And our final style for this video will be the horizontal line. So let's select it, and we'll give a width of 360 pixels, height 0.5 pixels, since it's going to be very thin. And then we'll do background light gray. And we forgot to do something else. We should have, for a celebrity, we forgot to type all that, my bad. For a celebrity, band, or business. Just some placeholder text for now. And we are done. There you have it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys have any questions, comment down below your questions and I'll get to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. Other than that, have a good day and I'll see you again in my next video.